Hello and welcome back to the Math Puzzle Crash Course. We have another one of our popular order of operations convention example problems. Another puzzle that's making its rounds on the internet and getting lots of different answers. But wanted to touch on this one here real briefly. The problem in question, it's this equation, 12 minus 1 times 0 plus 4 divided by 2 equals what? A lot of people will approach this problem and just start solving it left to right, but they're forgetting about the order of operations convention, which applies all of the time. It's something that really everyone's been taught. It's basically, at least in the U.S., it's an elementary school level um, thing that you're taught, and it's taught fairly early. I'm guessing probably fourth, fifth grade level, somewhere in that area. But anyhow, the way that this works, you may have heard of this before, but you start looking for parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication and division left to right, and then addition and subtraction left to right. So following along with that, if we go, we don't have any parentheses and we don't have any exponents here, but we do have multiplication and we do have division. So if we're going left to right, the first thing we run into is this 1 times 0. Well, if you remember multiplication by 0, it doesn't matter if it's 0 times 1 or 1 times 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. If I give you 0 of something, you're going to get 0 of it. If I give you 100 zeros, you're still getting 0. So 1 times 0 is 0, and so I'm showing that, bringing that down here in the problem. So you're ending up with 12 minus 0 plus 4 divided by 2. The next thing that we're going to look at is our division, going left to right, and so 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So down here on our third line, we have 12 minus 0 plus 2, and that equals 14. And I see lots of different answers. I see some things which really are strange, where I'll actually see people try to get answers like 10, because for some reason they think this minus sign applies to the 2. Well, there's not parentheses here. We don't have, um, sorry about that. I'll escape out of that. But we do not have parentheses around the 0 plus 2, so we cannot do that. That's not possible. So the answer is 14 in this case. And there are alternative ways to look at the problem. And one way to look at that would be to say, let's replace all of our multiplication with division. So we could do that. We could easily go in here in this problem and replace the multiplication, in this case with subtraction. So, um, you know, it's pretty easy here. What's 1, 0? 1, 0 is 0. So you still would have 12 minus 0. Division is just multiplication by a reciprocal, right? So, um, uh, 4 divided by 2 is nothing more than, um, let's go back and get this full screen again. So 4 divided by 2 is the same thing as saying 4 times 1/2, right? So yeah, 4 times 1/2 is the same as adding 1/2 4 times. So you can also replace 4 divided by 2 with 4 times 1/2. 4 multiplied by 1/2 is the same thing as saying 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. Now you say, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? And the only reason I'm explaining this is because I'm trying to drive home the point. First of all, that multiplication and division have equal precedence. That's why you go left to right when you're solving. And not only that, but I'm trying to make the impression on everyone The division is the same thing as multiplication. You're just multiplying by a reciprocal. So again, 4 divided by 2 is the same thing as saying 4 times 1/2. And as I said before, multiplication is repeated addition. Multiplication is just a form of shorthand. It's much easier to write 4 times 1/2 than it is to write 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. But I'm trying to drive home the point that you can convert your multiplication and division all into your addition and subtraction, which simplifies this problem. I mean, we can take this whole problem, 12 minus 1 times 0 plus 4 divided by 2, and we can convert it to 12 minus 0 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. And guess what? You still get the answer of 14. So I'm just doing that to show that you will still get 14 doing it that way. Um, as well as, and this is really the reasoning behind the order of operations. It's because it's not an arbitrary convention. It's basically based on the fact of, you have a relationship between addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And just like I said, multiplication is shorthand for addition. Division is just multiplication by a reciprocal. Now, if you have more complicated problems where you have parentheses and exponents involved, then you remember that whenever you have parentheses, you solve what's ever in those parentheses first. If you have exponents, that would come next. And you can think of exponents as repeated multiplication. So it kind of makes sense when you see the order, parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication and division. They're both the same precedence. And then finally, addition and subtraction. So I hope this has been helpful, and we will move along and try to hopefully have some more of these types of problems. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you.